might turn to color. When you have to, she's not the blonde lady. Hi, everybody. She's like, I got this great idea, her spirit. I think the title made that clear, but I did it so quickly. She's like, I got this great idea. I was just going to jump right in and not necessarily make this my own podcast, but just, I'm a leader, she says. And I thought, he's tired, although not that this doesn't use my energy, especially since I do, use it this way. I thought, he's tired from his other podcast and his meeting today. And I thought I could take the lead if he wants me to. But I don't mind. And it's very interesting that there's a specific name here. I mean, she's passed a long time ago, and it's kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious to see what mentioning a specific name might do, as far as, and I guess I'm doing this because, I don't have a session with him. 72, and then I have some stuff I got transferred over to other windows, and then I want to keep looking at this devices and this and that. But she's saying I need to come to my center, which is not a phrase I use very often. I know it is a phrase that people use. It does being really good people in here, but in fact, bringing my trusty new friend out, not in spirit, but hi, Sunny, how are you? Unfortunately, I can't have the radio on very heavy, but I do quickly have to. I know it's right away, but I kind of thought of doing it beforehand, but I just really quickly have to drop the fan. Oh dear, goodness gracious! But meant to survive. The fan has a cover on it, obviously, and it fell, and it happens fairly often because it's not very well balanced. It's not. I don't know, depending how the cord pulls it or whatever. And that was kind of creepy, kind of freaky. I hate to use that word because I don't, but and the dog did just resettle down, but I do have to quickly go up because my bladder. But then we'll get started, and I'm gonna see if she communicates anything to me in that time. But anyway, when I went to pick up the fan, I don't even know how it fit. Although, and I should try and bend this back. There's one of the I don't know how to though, and that's gonna be too loud for YouTube. And it's content. Okay, I kind of got it to bend. Now I got it too far the other way. But one of these is still not evenly spaced out. I need to bring this one forward too. But it's for my own healing and company. Not that I've felt lonely really today. And I mean, there's also the internet. Okay, so anyway, best I get it. One of these was bent, almost touching the other one, and my pinky finger got in it while it was on, and yet I'm unscathed. I mean, I tell you, I don't always have the greatest luck, but I had some there. So I'll be right back. But yeah, it's very interesting. I'm curious to see if people recognize his name. Oh. I mean, maybe she was blonde at some point, and I couldn't tell whether her was straight, and I thought I knew why, or curly, or straight, or wavy. But hers is curly. Um, so, Jason, good boy. Maybe just in case I'll grab that thingamajig. So I only heard one thing when I went up there on the way and on the way up. And it kind of connects with the whole coming to center comment that she made. Um, I mean, you've maybe seen me singles, but I'm not the aficionado on them. Yeah, do you want this? You kind of noticed I got it, eh? That was hesitant. But yeah, I'm curious to see if anybody knows his name. Um, I'm worried that this drops kind of fast. What did I unplug from there? Oh, well, this was already unplugged. Um, I think the radio's at a really good level. It could be noisy out there. He doesn't want that thing, so hopefully it won't be too noisy. What can I unplug? What's that? I don't know. Oh, it's the radio. And what's this? So I'm just trying to figure out a bunch of chords here. Next, I'll electrocute myself. No, that's the radio. They both seem like the radio, but the fan, the laptop, the heating pad. Okay, but if the heating pad isn't on, then it wouldn't draw power. I'm just worried about the shorting fuse. So first of all, I have to apologize if I seem a little bit tired. And that's one thing I kind of thought, is that I have some things on my mind I'm anticipating. I also have some stresses. But things are actually pretty good. And too bad this isn't over the noon hour, Michelle can watch. And I don't know. I've also been having a little bit of health stuff going on, and I think that, and not that it was really enjoyable to channel. And then that lady at the end, whoever she was, and I don't know if it was Linda Young or the age that she is now. But because I do feel that when you pass away, that I've heard that you get to pick what age you want to remain at. Doesn't mean we won't think of them how we think of them because we knew them in our head at a certain age, and that's fine. So it's not just that you're the healthiest, you're healthy again, but sorry, the dog's being annoying. I gave him a thing, but that you get to pick your age. No, maybe she has had blonde hair at some point, but she has dark hair. I should have copied the title. Basically, it was mentorship, allyship, and creativity. This is the thing. When a soul is creative, that's what can come across as creatively. But that was pretty good. Settle down. But otherwise, this is not an entertainment thing. It's not a creative thing. Although, if they have an entertaining spirit, if they have a creative spirit, this is really just to show that it's possible, to show what I do, and yeah. So, I know the dog's kind of watching. He's got to give me the side eyes. Just kidding. But stretching is good. And basically the breathing, okay. And I don't have that other bowl handy, no. But and somebody was here for like a minute, a little less than a minute. But she says, "But I'm here now. If you don't mind to visit." So I say, "Okay." And she gets comfy in the blue chair, and she kind of puts both of her. This is the visual I get, and it helps things along. And these are usually small things that don't hugely matter, but it lets you kind of sense their, well, I say character, personality, way of being. So she puts both of her arms on the chair, and there is two big arms on it. She's actually kind of rubbing the one, and it was secondhand furniture when we got it. Possibly of another person in heaven. These pieces of furniture I've already had for 8 or 9 years. It's hard to believe. Like they're in pretty good condition, all things considered. I mean, that looks rustic, and he doesn't usually chew at it. I don't think it was him as a puppy. Maybe a little bit, and maybe a previous cat, but it's just from being old. But I like it. It's kind of like a rustic, rugged look, but yeah, the rest of the chair looks fine, and it's a nice chair. I don't know how he ever got those because they're wide through the door and this couch, and out of my other apartment, which had a very small entranceway. She's like, okay, okay. And I already know this, so it's interesting to hear her saying it. But she says, but she just communicated to me before I verbalize it. She says, "I'm Linda. How are you doing today?" And I'm good. She's like, I mean, I know that you're carrying, you know, a lot of things, good, bad, or neutral, on your shoulders. But yeah, nice to meet you. I'm not sure if we've ever. If I did ever channel her, it was once, and it was a while ago. Um, but um, she knew a friend of mine on my old one of my social media pages, um, and was a mentor to him. And I recreated. I got stuck with my old one. So and we kind of just lost touch. She says Paul was a lovely man, a lovely young man. And that name's a bit of a trigger. She says, "I'm sorry, hon, but we don't have to talk a lot about him, but I so enjoyed working with him. You know, maybe he'll reach out to you for a session, especially since you have had past contact with him. And if Paul happens to see this and you don't recognize my name, this is a shared YouTube channel on my part. Yeah, so, but and it's interesting that when I started this video, I had it captured and I was going to say artist and then her name. And then I couldn't figure out what happened at first. The page just simply reloaded before I started rolling, and the title was not there anymore. I've not seen it glitch like that before. And I fairly quickly after that heard her kind of trying to say to me, well, I wasn't only an artist, you know. And it's true. I did notice that she has a book, and actually, it's got some sort of special promotion sale up until May. And I mean, she passed away in 2020 during the pandemic. Um, and she's led me to this because she's like, it's an aid for you to help me get to know each other. I mean, like if a certain someone sees this that I commented on a post of, um, you know, I don't even know what your partner's name is, and names aren't as important to them there. I mean, that's how we remember them, and I'm not entirely sure, but I believe they still have names. But they want to come through with other stuff. You know who they are. I don't have to, in that way. Um, but it doesn't happen often. But occasionally, it's kind of like one said they did it to give me some confidence because and sometimes you just stumble across things. But I mean, I haven't looked, and I am going very slow today. I feel like, but she wanted to give me some confidence, and unfortunately, I never have talked to her about it. But I mean, I haven't heard anything one way or another. I didn't. I don't think I mentioned that this happened, but no. And like the other one, like I may not connect with the family at all. But and I'd almost recommend that one, but I don't know what to expect with this one. But that one was very powerful. I mean, she's already given some pretty kind of precise, specific things, but yeah, basically, because I mostly channel my own loved ones, and that's just how it happens. I'm open to branching out with it, but you know, I don't let it out very often. And I mean, I'm going to be on somebody else's podcast soon, actually, possibly on the weekend, and we might double stream it. Let me know if you'd like. But the thing of the matter is that I might just have to say, the bulk of it, or for anything that I missed, if you're really into this stuff. I mean, aside from booking a session, and I do want to say some things that I said on that post, though. How unfortunately sometimes scammers give a bad rep for this kind of thing, and people who have not ever had a good experience with the medium or any experience with the medium, or who um, or who or medium, like some mediums may not be that bad, but they need to hone their ability more. And I've been doing it since 25. I'm 38 now. I mean, again, mostly for myself, so I haven't had a lot of practice, but I have done a few sessions for others. And quite a long time ago, though. But yeah, basically, and a lot of them just charge way too much. Even if it is an hour. I mean, I don't know. And I mean, whether they're popular and getting lots of bookings or not, although a couple of popular ones maybe charge a little less, but the wait list was still big. But I don't know how they can live with themselves. Whether they're actually good or not, I don't kind of care. Like, I don't know how they can live with themselves charging somebody so much money, and the viewer left, but whatever. Um, and look in the mirror and, and you know, sleep at night and all that kind of stuff. Um, and I'm not like that. I do struggle with mainstream employment and I have difficulties and less and less able to do a lot of other work. But some of the stuff I don't have a degree, blah, 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 blah. But it's, yeah, so, and Linda's saying you're a creator at heart, aren't you, dear? Yeah, pretty much. Like not like like this is not creative. This is real. I could use it for creative projects, and I've had that idea before, a book and such, and I'm almost tempted to plug her book. Um, she's like, "You plug away, dear. Plug on." but but yeah, that was just a reminder, and I pulled it up afterwards. It was just a reminder. Well, I really was just looking for a picture, to be honest. But again, she's like, it's fine, dear. I mean, it's just like a picture. It's a visual aid, and then it can make you go off and running and allow your beautiful gift to shine. Amen. It certainly wasn't 70. I mean, this is interesting. One thing, I don't know if I've ever read this before. One thing I'm reading here is that it says her legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of everyone she mentored and interacted with, as well as those she reached but never met. This was right when she passed. And she says, that's virtually, dear. And, you know, not often, not often, but I have done this kind of stuff before as well and help people. I had a lot of friends, she says. Um, and now I've not met you, but I've come into your day and to reach out to you. And I just want to offer you love and kindness on your journey. And she's looking around our place. She actually kind of turns sideways and touches the pen. And says, oh, I think I've seen these before. They're pretty cool. Um, she looks at the picture of Marianne. I was just thinking about, oh, the guardian angel Marianne, right? But she asked if I did that. No, no, I didn't. But it's ironic because the first name, semi-unique, of the person who did do it, also connects as a co-worker to someone I saw today. It's lovely, dear, she says. Have I met that person? She says. I don't know. Have you? I mean, she's in heaven as well. She's like, did you say your name is Marianne? I said, yeah. And she's connected, she's connected to you. She says, I feel like I have met a Marianne who mentioned these artists, musicians that she knew in Canada, and and that. How did you know her? I said I worked with her back in the day, and it's ironic. There was a sign in one of the earlier videos that kind of connected to it a little bit. And she says, "Yes, I think she told me." And, I don't know. It's always nice to hear that, but I kind of don't expect to, or still surprised when I do. My bladder again. I have a health condition. What can I say? Um, but the dog's being so good, and she looks at the piano and asks if I play. Not a lot, and I am. I really am tired, but I do want to get this device up there soon, and then do some things, and then leave it up there. Swap some things to the other window. But I'm rusty on the piano, and that's a pretty tall stack of music books, and it's not a device that easily sits on the piano or that can easily go that near to it. She's like, that's fine, another time, dear. Well, she has such a. I could tell that she could be the life of the party type, but she has a very calm demeanor about her. She says that's what made her a good mentor, and she, was very used to feeling those calm feelings when she was doing her art and her writing. And she says it just sometimes it's just how it kind of flows with me. She says. And she says, how you feeling? She says, what was it? Not psychometry, physiology. That's what's set up on the stairs. She says, I sense that your physiology is a little bit iffy. And I almost sense like she says, like, I kind of want to like give you a massage, but I know that'd be awkward, and I'm in a different form. So she says, this is very interesting. I had not expected this. She says, how about instead of the piano, since you want to go upstairs anyway, how about you show some of the lovely art in your home and tell me about it? It's interesting for her to get me to do that. She said, because you know, yeah, that's not healthy for you. Okay, so let's do that then. I know the dog's being very good and everything, but I did want to go upstairs briefly anyway. Um, So this art, oops, okay, just a moment. The cords are being caught in around other cords. So this art here, I want people to go there and try and get it. That there, have to get a bit closer, I guess. The sun's shining. There we are. Not where I thought I'd have to point it to show it. Like I feel like I'm not even aiming it out there. But anyway, is a donated piece. The other one that goes with it's in the other room there. My dad worked with horses, so we got some horse ones. That one's really actually kind of cool. I don't know if I can do it moving the screen or just moving the painting, but it kind of moves. It's on like a kind of surface. I don't know what they call it at the moment, but here's a painted cup. I couldn't believe you couldn't remember that's one of mine from the art group who did the one in the basement, because he's got a lot of her pieces and knows it for quite well. The picture she was talking about earlier, these off here, is right there. Marianne loved her coffee, and she was a smoker. I'll have to turn that lamp off later. I don't know if that one's worth showing or not. I've always liked this one. I've always liked this one. It's also on kind of a glossy type of thing. And that one wasn't actually already mine. That was here when we moved in. Well, glad I opened it, but you want to go upstairs, Sonny? Okay. Again, there's actually quite a few Glen Hubbins in the world, so it's completely fine if you search, you might not find the same one. But those are some I did in an art group of mine, or an art group that I was in. This one got from his work. It's actually quite large, and it really jumps out a lot. Normally, I would say this is not very portable, and I'm just trying to be very careful because it's a shared laptop as well. But yeah, that one, and especially in dim lighting, like the yellows in it really pop. She says, "Beautiful, dear. I always love an artist's home," she says. And I always try and see if they're interested in including my art in it. That one, he tried to bike home with it, struggled. It rained a slight bit over the weekend. Monday, it was still leaning where he left it. We were surprised. That's a gold leaf. Hi, Steve. Rochelle's picture's almost there. There is an interesting kind of optical illusion one in the bedroom, actually. I don't know if there's really any in here, except for that one. Well, that's kind of cool, I guess. I never really liked that one. But just to quickly show you here. Did you get in here with the door closed? Oh, so you did, eh? It's a bit more of an interactive type video. There's a number of eyes in it, or at least I thought there was, or a number of faces. Something about that one. You have to comment underneath this later and describe it, because there's something about it. Oh, is that by Lenny, I think her name is? Huh. And then he's got a bunch there at the top of the closet and behind shelves, because he's just such a damn collector. I've always liked these things. I thought we put them out recently. Not a very good view of them, but there is one downstairs, but I'm up here with this now. I always like this one. It's even got some nice texture. I don't know if I can show that without showing that, especially when it's not pointing where I think it's pointing, but this is some Intarsha that I did as a kid, as a teenager. Hopefully I'm not making you dizzy. Yeah, even some of the knickknacks are very nicely painted. That's some of Lynn's pieces there. Mandela's, that's one I did in a workshop. Get to see this room a little bit better, eh? So I'm not going to connect that right now. I will later. and I do not see the headphones. I have not put it anywhere, so it's here somewhere, or the speaker rather. So that's bizarre. Oh, is it here? Okay. Connect those two later. As far as I didn't bring anybody in. Okay, that one sparked for some reason. Okay, and I'll see if she has anything else she wants to wrap up. I think we'll keep this short. It's helped the day fly though. I feel like we have more art than that. Like I missed something. But I guess I showed a bunch at once a couple times. I was just communicating with Linda about a song that I know of called She's the Canvas, or She's the Painter, or something like that. She says, oh, I'd love to hear it. Well, I don't know if you can watch YouTube up there or just be in people's live streams, but for those of you that would like to hear it, you can check it out. We posted it about, me and Glenn are both in it. We posted it about, I'm going to say a month ago, maybe a little less than a month ago. So you can feel free to check that out. Man, I haven't been up here in a while. She says, well, you're probably a pretty busy guy, so I don't want to keep you for too much longer. And the thing is that these days, I find ways to keep busy and somehow get through the day, but I'm not hugely. However, I do have about 5 or 6 things coming up in the next. May is quite busy. July is going to be quite busy. I have a 4-week group thing happening in June. Cool. Well, I just want to leave everybody watching your video, if I may, with a couple final words with this visit. And so it hasn't been like super in depth, but yeah, and it would be so cool if somebody tuned in that knew her, but I don't think I want to do an hour video. I mean, maybe they'll tune in afterwards and say, I recognize this lady. Maybe they'll be looking up her name for whatever reason. I don't know if she had a YouTube channel now. I'm kind of curious. Or Gally, I mean, now that she's passed away, she might not be doing as much. Well, there might not be as much active stuff happening, but some people, their legacy keeps pretty active, and I know that she was part of what was it called? Rise Up, or We Will Rise, or whatever. Rise like the day, rise up, or in spite of the aches, or rise up, or do it 1,000 times again. Anyway. All of this is recycling. I can't believe it's in here. Somebody else put it in there. This, I'm not sure, though. It might have remnants of stuff inside that might be hard to get out, so I'll give her that one. But, gum, I didn't know he was chewing gum. But, anyway, she just says, I know that in some ways, or I sense that this is probably the type of message that you like to put out on your channel. But she says, she seems to move like this a lot. I don't know if she did or she does now, or she's just very flowing. And I mean, I don't sense that with every angel. But she says that aside from the mentorship and the art and her writing, she says, and so she was kind of a public figure, but I didn't know of her, very much in my life. I knew of her because she was important to a friend of mine, and they actually knew each other. I mean, I thought he was close to my age. He may have been a few years older, but that she knew him since she was quite young until she passed away. He was in his 30s. Yeah, so he might have been my age. And they had a 30, or a few years younger, actually. They had a 30-year friendship, which is really quite something. And she says, and you know what made that so special? And I mean, unfortunately, this isn't a session with them, but I mean, and I need to be having those two people because, it's a bit more intimate and focused or whatever. But there might not be much else to say. But I guess this is mine. I don't know exactly. I don't remember how it works. But she says, she says, you know it, my guy. She says, she says, but what really makes a friendship strong, powerful, lovely is love, acceptance, support. Um, some people, some friends that you'll make in life will not be meant to last a lifetime, and some people aren't. But with love, acceptance, support, understanding on both sides, um, all the above, she says, take it from someone who knows. I've had a lot of longtime friends, she says, uh, older than you've been alive, even longer than, and Paul. And she says, um, I hope my this is just that she says maybe they're coming more contact with me, and this can be elaborated on, and this may or may not sound generic, but she says, I just hope everybody's doing well. I just hope this is kind of somewhat unique, sort of, kind of, but she says, I hope everybody that I love and care about, and in general, is prospering in their lives or finding ways to. She's actually having me do something, and she says, you can keep it on camera if you want to. And again, sure, this may seem like I'm just boosting or stroking my ego, but no, some souls, just like some people in life, they really just know how to make someone feel good. And she says, whatever you choose to do in your life, look into the face that's looking in the mirror with love, kindness, and acceptance also. And know that you are stronger than you think you are. And you show yourself that every day. Hey, there's a cane if I happen to need one. I've been wondering about that. I know, but with the way my chest sometimes gets tight and my back, and takes a little bit of pressure. People aren't used to seeing me walk with a cane. So using that. That was really nice. That was really nice, and how she added a little bit more than she's kind of repeated some of what she said just moments before, and then added more. Person that just tuned in, you missed something really cool. I'm not going to make this much longer because I've done a lot of podcasting today. Basically, the soul of a woman who was an artist, writer, mentor, and friend of a friend, and you left. So, you know what? I don't need to repeat it then. She's like, you're right. The people that see it as you're doing it naturally without having to repeat yourself too much are the ones that matter. The ones that don't stay for whatever reason, personal or not, don't worry about them, dear. And remember that the person in that mirror is important and will be valued by the right people. I do and don't feel emotional by that. It's kind of like it's true, and I've had that in my life at times. And the other person I live with, I totally feel that, and I'm looking forward to feeling it more and trying to enjoy the rest of my life as I can. Okay, we have our content for tonight. It's nothing super deep. It's healing. He didn't know the people said, well, it is deep in some ways. She's like, would you like to go back to the mirror and we can make it a little deeper? And so, yeah, basically, this was the soul spirit of Linda, Regula, um, and someone who was very close with a friend of mine that I had online. Um, we've kind of lost touch, but and she just did the most interesting thing where she had me kind of look in that mirror over there, which I don't go out a ton. And as long as I'm showered and know I'm dressed well, and I trim up every now and then. And somebody was here for 2 or 3 minutes, but which was almost a record. Just kidding. But I don't feel, and also maybe I feel conceited, or maybe there's part of me that doesn't want to. So I don't go looking in the mirror very often. But there was a few times where I've taken some photos that are very symbolic to me. And what you're supposed to do? When I told him, that's why the camera is that. And it just something had sparked that reminded me how just in some ways I am just very unhappy. I said, and by the way, sometimes I have that side and I'm unhappy. He says, okay. And I said something that was wishy-washy, but almost to be expected when you think of it, actually supportive. And she says, and that can apply to him too, what he said. But you know what? You guys are great. And we have 2 people here now. Welcome. And she channeling Linda Regula, who was artist, writer, mentor, and wow. And again, this is the type of person she was when we went. But and actually, there's something we're going to do. And so she says, this isn't just a message for you. And I know I've kind of already said it, but to the person watching, and keep in mind, I don't know other than the number at the top, anything about you really, but neither does she really. Spirit can sometimes divide their being as an angel in more than one place. And she was going to compliment you, but you left. And she says that was their journey. To hear as much as they heard, sit with it. Maybe they'll be back. Maybe they won't. Don't let it get you discouraged. And that was a very helpful way to look at that, which, I think I kind of told myself something like that either earlier on in this video, which is getting longer than intended, or in one of the other ones today, or in between videos or whatever. I think I told myself, I guess they've seen what they meant to see. But, the fact that she said maybe they'll come back, maybe they won't, don't get discouraged. Wow. Yeah, I can tell, and I don't know her very well. I can tell that she is very much loving, caring, and a mentorship soul. And she says I feel like she almost like Reiki, like, so not like, and in her form she wouldn't be able to anyway. But I feel like if she could, she might. But she's like got her hands out, and she's like kind of like this over my shoulders, and she's saying, and like her being standing here, whatever. And she's saying, you've got so much to offer, as we all do. We're all beautiful people, and we just have to be allowed to shine and share our gifts and change the world, she says. Um, and she says, although I didn't really know you in my life, I think you mattered to Paul. Even if you weren't super close and somebody was there for 2 or 3 minutes again, it may have been the one that was there before, I don't know, it doesn't tell. Just saying. I didn't know him super well, but you know what? She says most of his friends mattered to him, and he had a very similar personality to me, and that's why we got along so well. She says, that's my main message here. She says in this video for you and for your viewers is to, like I said, she seemed like she wanted to like jump right in from the very beginning and just like start the podcast. She says is to honor yourselves, find your passions and live them fully as much as you can. You know, she says, great when other people can be involved. Don't rely on it. She says, I can't tell you how much time I spent in my studio alone, as much as I also had lots of great people around me. And she says, or working on my book. And, you know, it's hard to launch things sometimes. It's hard to get to the level that you want to sometimes, she says. And I understand that wholeheartedly, especially when I was first standing out. So again, was there for 2 or 3 minutes. I kind of wonder if it's the same person. Maybe like she said. Anywho, just saying, because it knows. And she says, but, and it's something I've struggled with because I've always felt, and this is why doing stuff on this channel is so helpful. I've always felt that what I do isn't meant for just me, and that I've got to be putting it out there. And sometimes even with the internet, you know, I mean, Facebook a little bit every now and then, you know, I've not always known how. I've not always known how to go about it, or maybe felt not confident sometimes, whatever it is. And, you know, it's, I think, an important message, whether you're a creator or trying to do most things in life. You know, yes, it's great when you can collab. It's great when you have other people around you supporting you, being involved in what you're doing in one way or another. But she says, she's kind of giving that message where, you know, and she says, absolutely aim for that. Why not? She says, and always try and make it possible. But you've got to be able to look in the mirror, actually or metaphorically, as we use like a mirror, and love that person and nurture that person and let your wonderfulness unfold. And she says, and the right people will see it. You know, I don't want to say don't try, because you're always going to have to try. But it should feel mostly effortless. And she says, I don't know why, but I feel like you needed to hear that. And perhaps the people that are coming in and out, or the people that are here for like, you know, and you know what? It's interesting that it says may come back or whatever, because I don't necessarily know if they're always accurate, but the statistics at the end of the one video said 3 views. I was sure that it had said a few more, which makes me think that somebody came back. I mean, I sometimes use incognito just because, I don't know, I worried about signing in one time, and I don't know, no particular reason. It's a bit faster than my regular browser on my phone, I guess. And I remember one time we looked at mine, or sometimes it takes a moment to catch up to it, like or show one like, and then the other one will appear like a few moments afterwards. But it's kind of, and we are getting some sun. But I mean, I'm going to do my things tomorrow, which is going to be also nice. I don't know, maybe I'll step out and get some fresh air. She said you should. You know, school that out about 24 minutes ago, but she said, you know, breathe in the air and the nature. It will do you well. But yeah, it's so it makes me think that maybe somebody did come back. So anyway, I've got some things I got to kind of do to finish kind of resetting things back up here. But I'm actually kind of thinking it's only 2:30 and I really should get outside, and I'll probably be back up again. And she says, yes, I should probably leave you to it. Ryan H., hello. Well, you caught me just before I wrapped up. and I'm curious what you have to say aside from hello. Good to hear from you. Are you the Ryan? I don't think you are. Who does a lot of videos? Now we have two. Does a lot of videos. No, back to one. And you seem like a wise Yoda. And used to have an eye as your picture, I think. He's a Ryan, but I don't know if it's H. How has this video resonated with you? I'm curious. I'll shut up and let you type, even though maybe you can multitask. And to the second person, I'm just giving myself a moment to slow down. So have you just tuned in, or have you came back? Have you been and came back? I'm just curious. Do you know what's transpired? Is what I'm asking here. How much have you seen? Sorry, trying to think of how the best way to ask it. And where are you from? Just out of curiosity. Missed it all. Well, I hope you will, and I think you said new here, yeah. So you haven't seen any of my videos. I hope you will decide to watch this one back and some of the other ones. However, let me kind of encapsulate it a bit for you. What this channel is about, and I said it in one of the other recent videos. Manchester, UK. Oh, nice. We'll check your channel out. We're in Canada. Ever been? We have a second viewer. We feel about the UK. My brother lived for a while, but London. I'm hearing your accent already, and I love it. I love the English accent. I'm English Canadian, but we have a second viewer. Where are you from? Are you new here? What this channel is about? Tell me what you think of this. Is kind of random in some ways, but it's music, it's mental health, it's healing, it's this particular one. I don't know if you recognize the name and the title, and that's what intrigued you. I'm actually kind of curious what did, although I'm happy that it did. Did I not bring a water up here? I mean, I have another one up here, but yeah, this one's kind of cool. Literally, because I've done 3 podcasts today and I had a meeting, and that's a lot for me. I literally was going to, but I don't mind. I'm so happy. This channel, it's a shared channel. And initially, it was a lot, mostly music playing or whatever. And the other person has done so well with it that sometimes it's actually somehow made quite a good amount of money. And then it's been a bit hit and miss lately as we get second viewer, but it's and sometimes they're very quiet. So I appreciate that you weren't shy, that you put comments. I am curious, what drew you to it? Was it the title? Did you know the name in it? There's actually a person's name in it. I'm curious. And one of the things, and if I always say, unless you've had experiences or been close to someone who has, none of us really knows, but I can tell you as a medium, I have a pretty good idea that heaven is real, angels exist, they are with us, sometimes very strongly, and this video was another great example of that. And I felt like she said, I want to come here, work my magic a little bit. I want to come back. She says, not that I need the help. I mean, one keeps, I don't know if it's the same person, but it keeps saying too briefly, but you're still here. And I appreciate it. And I don't know. And you did just tune in. So like I say, I really hope. Interesting. As we get 3, it says. This is not a dress. It's interesting that it came across as that. And that's I wish there was a way we could connect off of YouTube, because that it's interesting that came out, but it's actually, I guess they call it a serape. I don't know. It's a thing because I don't sometimes like to wear sleeves because I get warm. Sometimes I have some health issues. Sometimes it's about that, this channel. And so, I'm happy that it's shorts weather because, not that and that's something that as I've gotten older, I've noticed more. Like if I'm wearing pants in a place, like sometimes I'm okay outside, unless it's like really hot, but it's like a lot of places don't seem to have very good air conditioner or it's not on very strong I mean, they're probably trying to, for the expense of having it running all the time, they probably sometimes don't. Um, sometimes at home, if the AC is on, pretty constantly, and it varies. Sometimes I think I'm being messy, but so I like having the open concept, but even still, I kind of, but yeah, it's not a dress, and I don't really like the pattern. It's again secondhand, probably when someone else passed away. An inhaler brought up an interesting visitation earlier, like asthma. But yeah, I've worn this for ages, but soon it'll be summer and I'll have to put it away properly. But I also think I have anemia, most likely. So, get cold and all that stuff. But, I do want to say, and we have two people who've been here for a while as well. Man, I was almost wrapping up. I do want to say that the fact that you thought it was a dress and still talk to me, you're a cool guy. I shouldn't genderize. I understand, but you obviously have a good heart. And one of it went to 2 for a moment, then back to 3, and now it's back to 2. I don't know what's going on, but I like the plate painting on your wall. This here, this is so interesting because Linda had us do something kind of neat. I'm using a laptop, so usually I don't move with it too much. But she was an artist, and she said, and at first she wanted to hear me play piano, and then she says, or you can just share the art in your home. So why do I have this off now? Because I was a bit warm, I guess. So I kind of walked around the house, and you can see that in the earlier part of this video, and did that. But if talking about this, I would call it a mandala. It's not actually a plate. It's actually bigger than I think you think it is. It's definitely bigger than a plate. I would say it's bigger than a basketball and a frisbee. Like I'm no good at math and measurement sometimes, but it's like a mandala. And suddenly, it says no viewers, so I don't know what's up with that, but I'm going to keep it rolling. But now it says 2 again. Anywho, and Glenn did it, and he's very talented, and this is a shared channel. I have to very briefly go to the other room, so I'll let you catch up on any of those things. Have you ever been to Canada, out of curiosity? I'm just a curious story. And I feel like you've kind of helped invigorate some energy out of me. But then, Linda did that too. And she's actually saying, you seem like the kind of person that would be a friend to so many people that matter to her. And also now me, because I didn't know her that well. You have, I don't know if you knew her, but she says you have a sense of style, a sense of curiosity, a spirit of love. All great things, right? I'll let you catch up. I just have to very briefly go to the other room. So glad you're here. Willing to talk with you for a little bit more, and then I got to go. I lived in Montreal many years back. Second viewer. I've never been there. In fact, I'm soon to see possibly a bit more of BC for the first time. I've only seen the airport. We have a sick relative-in-law, and we're just trying to coordinate everything we need to coordinate. And as I said to Glenn, we'd be fools not to travel now because the rates are good right now. But I've never been there. I don't even speak much French. I live in a kind of French area where I do live, and my brother lives in France. I know that's different, but so it's actually kind of ironic. But even though streets are some, there's definitely, you can tell it's French being in this neighborhood. But I've learned since living in it that you don't have to know French to survive in it. But it's so interesting, the Montreal thing, because the soul that I channeled in the previous video, I think it was just previous, it said something about a new way of inhaling. As we second one, welcome. he had Montreal connections as well. And especially since it keeps flashing somebody else. Somebody's flashing on their video. Welcome to the club. No, just kidding. Just kidding. But maybe since it's just you here right now, I'll just very quickly say, because maybe you know this person, maybe you don't. I almost said the doctor's name. And only because you're here and this is well into the video. Ian Brownlee. Got a second person tuned in. Maybe meant to hear it. Maybe just heard the last part. We also know a lady a street over. Her name's Valerie F. But now H. And maybe you know her. I'll be right back. And yeah, let you catch up to that. And out of curiosity, Ryan, one more curious question. Do you post videos as well? You make me want to be British. You make me want to give a British accent, but it might not come across British at all. I should do a song, You Make Me Want to Be British. I could post what I do. I do want to say one other thing, though. My connection to y'all. My brother lived in England for a while. He was also in a famous band in Australia. But I've been watching Come Dine With Me. We may have phased out of that a little bit because I've seen a lot of them, it's like two people come in at once as well. I've seen a lot of them, and okay, well, it's that matters to people like us who are posting them, especially quieter channels like this. I mean, like I say, certainly, yeah. Maybe you should make some.